We are moving right along on our healing series, and this week we're going to talk about the gifts of healing and the gift of miracles, or the gift of working of miracles. So we've talked before, and I'm just going to kind of recap, but we've talked about how it is God's will to heal, and it's all three members of the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's the will of all three members for us to be healed. The devil is the one who comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but Jesus came to give us life and life in abundance. That's John 10:10. So God is not the one who makes us sick. The devil is the one that causes us to have sickness. God does not give us sickness to punish us or to teach us a lesson. It is the devil who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. One of God's names is Jehovah Rapha, the Lord who heals you. That is a promise and a covenant that is in his very name. We have authority over all sickness and over all disease and over the power of the enemy. We have authority over demons as well, so we can cast demons out to have people be set free and healed. So we are going to focus on still the different healing methods that can be used to facilitate a healing. And we are using, again, this is material coming from my book, Keys to Healing. We're in chapter 5, healing methods, and we are on, I think this is our 5th or 6th week of doing the healing methods. But lots of different ways that God can choose to heal somebody. It might not be the same for every person. It could be different for every single person, and they could all receive the same kind of healing. But God is a good God. He's a good Father, and we always want to remember that. Good, He has good things for us, okay? We've talked about how healing can be gradual, or it can be instant, or it can happen instantly after a matter of days. And we've talked about how healing sometimes cannot manifest instantly because it would be too traumatic for our body. So God knows how that healing needs to happen for us individually. So the method that we're going to talk about today, again, like I said, it's gifts of healing and gift of miracles, or gift of working of miracles. So God can use a person with a gift of healing or a gift of miracles to heal someone. And so of the Trinity, the Holy Spirit is the one who provides the power for healing, but he also provides those gifts that are listed in 1 Corinthians 12. And those gifts include the gifts of healing and the gift of miracles. In Acts 1, verse 8, Jesus told his disciples, "You will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth." But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on us. It is a dunamis power that the Holy Spirit has, and that lives inside of us believers. We have the miracle worker living inside of us. So let's look at 1 Corinthians 12. It says, "About the gifts of the Spirit, brothers and sisters, I do not want you to be uninformed. You know that when you were pagans, somehow or other, you were influenced and led astray to mute idols. Therefore, I want you to know that no one who is speaking by the Spirit of God says, 'Jesus be cursed,' and no one can say Jesus is Lord except by the Holy Spirit. There are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them." That's the Holy Spirit. So there's different kinds of gifts, but it's the same Spirit who distributes them. So there are different kinds of service, but the same Lord. There are different kinds of workings, but in all of them and in every one, it is the same God at work. Now to each one, the manifestation of the Spirit is given for the common good. To one there is given through the Spirit a message of wisdom, to another a message of knowledge by means of the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit. We talked about the gift of faith when we talked about faith in our episode on faith as a method for healing. To another, gifts of healing by that one Spirit. To another, miraculous powers. To another, prophecy. To another, distinguishing between spirits. To another, speaking in different kinds of tongues. And to still another, the interpretation of tongues. All these are the work of one and the same Spirit, and he distributes them to each one just as he determines. So he would not give us the gifts of healing if he didn't want people to be healed. That's a gift that he gives us to use for other people. And since it's the Holy Spirit who provides the gifts, and the Holy Spirit lives in all believers, all of the gifts that we just mentioned in 1 Corinthians 12 are available to a believer as the Holy Spirit wills. So when you are a good steward of the gifts, when you are learning about them, you're actually using them to help others, you're using them responsibly, in maturity, with love, He increases our giftings. When we are a good steward, we get more gifts. Matthew 25:29 says, "For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance." He has also given spiritual gifts to the church because he wants us to use them to minister to each other, to build unity and community, and to grow in love. So the gifts of healing are given for us to use to help other people. Those gifts of the Spirit that are talked about in 1 Corinthians 12, they're divided into 3 different categories. So there are the revelation gifts, and those are gifts that reveal things, and those represent the mind of God. So those include the words of knowledge, the words of wisdom, and discerning of spirits. And then the second category is the inspiration or the speaking gifts, and they represent the mouth of God. So those include prophecy, tongues, and the interpretation of tongues. And now we're going to talk about the demonstration or the power gifts, and those represent the hand of God. So gifts of healing and gifts of working of miracles are included in this category. And on this podcast, we did talk about the gifts of the Spirit in detail in episodes 7 through 13. So if you want to go back and listen to those, feel free. But we talked about all of these gifts back there, episodes 7 to 13. Gifts of healing, what they are gifts that God gives to people to enable the healing of a particular ailment. Gifts of healing is plural, which means that there's more than one gift of healing. So there's lots of different gifts of healing, and you can have more than one gift of healing. So one person, for example, might have a gift of healing for cancers or tumors. Another person might have a gift of healing for respiratory issues, or for blindness, or for reproductive problems and infertility. And as with all of the other gifts, when a gift of healing is stewarded well, God can add to it so you can have more than one gift of healing. Healing can also happen with the gift of working of miracles. Now, the working of miracles, it involves usually an instant healing, and many times they are creative in nature or they defy our natural laws. And when I say they are creative in nature, say a person has a bad heart and you pray for them to have a new heart, God can actually give them a brand new heart. People have gone to the doctor and the doctor will say, it's like you have the heart of a 15-year-old when before they had the heart of a failing 70 or 80-year-old. So I've heard that happen before. You'll also see with this method where like metal or steel rods will disappear from a person's body. You will see like steel plates will be gone that had been inserted into a person's body. The steel plates will disappear. You'll see a person who has a glass eye or they have no eye and they just wear an eye patch. You'll see sometimes with this, a brand new eyeball will be created and made new and put into that person's body by the Lord. You'll see this when there's somebody who has a short leg and it's prayed for and the leg grows stronger, or an arm and a hand grow where there used to only be a stub of an arm, or where a bent spine will straighten out. This can be a gift of working of miracles. So when something defies our natural laws, like we have natural laws like the law of gravity, right? If that law is broken, that is a gift of working of miracles. And we see that when Jesus walked on the water. But when it defies our natural laws, you have the gift of the working of miracles. So some more examples that aren't related to healing would be when Jesus supernaturally multiplied the food and took just, a few loaves and a few fish and then had enough to feed 4,000 to 5,000 people plus women and children. Jesus turning water into wine, that was a miracle. That was the gift of working of miracles. And then again, when he walked on the water. I did hear a story of, there was a crusade, a healing crusade going on, or maybe it was an evangelical crusade. I'm not sure, like an evangelizing crusade. I'm not sure which one it was, But there was a mass crusade spreading the gospel in another country, and a person was in the crowd. They were suddenly able to see when they had not been able to see before because they had no eyeball. And so they were able to see, and they still had no eyeball. There was no eyeball still there in the socket, but they could miraculously see. That is a gift of working of miracles. And when the person who was in charge prayed for the person again, they prayed, okay, well, Lord, this person needs an eyeball. We're praying that you would give them an eyeball. An eyeball appeared in the empty socket. So that is a miracle. It's a gift of working of miracles. I think that's it for today for this one. I don't have any other notes, at least. So we will we'll continue on with the series in the next several weeks. We still have lots to cover. And if you want any information or links to more resources, you can go to my website, melissarupp.com. You can donate to the ministry there. There's links where you can, or tabs where you can invite me to come minister or train at your location. And there's ads, or there's my courses, my online courses. There's a link for the online courses on there as well. So we'll catch you next time. Take care. Be blessed.